The NBA trade deadline is coming your way on Thursday, and we here at Chat Sports will be live all throughout the day, breaking down all of these trades as they come in, before the deadline, during the deadline, and after. So make sure you subscribe and join us for the most watched NBA trade deadline coverage on YouTube by hitting that red subscribe button down below. And in the meantime, we're going to try to get to 280,000 subs. Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Coming your way on today's show, we're going to take a look at 30 NBA trade candidates heading into Thursday's deadline. But first, today's show presented to you by the Fetch Rewards app. This app, like some of these players, an absolute game changer. You scan your receipts and get points back for those receipts, and over time, you're able to rack up those bonus points, which then leads to you getting free gift cards. And by using that link down below, chatsports.com/fetch, enter the promo code CHAT, you get 3,000 bonus points. I'll put that link in the comment section as well as the description of this video. So the NBA season continues to progress, and it's really crazy we're at this point where the NBA trade deadline just a couple days away on Thursday. Of course, as I mentioned, we'll be live all throughout the day right here on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. So we are a channel of the NBA fans. We are a channel of the people. So we're going to do our due diligence and break down 30 trade candidates going into Thursday. And I want to start off by taking a look at the most marquee players on this list. Ben Simmons, James Harden, Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, as well as CJ McCollum. The most likely player to get traded, probably Ben Simmons. Now, there's a chance that James Harden could get dealt, as well as Bradley Beal and CJ McCollum. I think Damian Lillard is not going to get traded for a couple of reasons. He remains faithful and loyal to Portland, but also he's been dealing with that really nasty abdominal injury, and he might not play the rest of the year. But there is a chance that he could get traded. But all of these players, if they are to get traded to a different team across the NBA, they're going to be considered absolute game changers. And I understand that the value for Ben Simmons is somewhat low, but we're talking about a two-time All-NBA player. He finished runner-up in Defensive Player of the Year voting last year, has made it to 3 All-Star games, and has a bunch of elite traits. An interesting nugget when it comes to this potential Ben Simmons trade, with James Harden rumors linked to it, is this nugget from Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer. He said this on the Bill Simmons podcast, because the Simmons for Harden trade rumors continue to surface leading into Thursday. O'Connor said this: sources say Tyrese Maxey totally off the table for Philadelphia. I'm told someone like Danny Green is more likely to be included than one of Philly's young players. Seth Curry is an integral part of the Sixers offense, and without Matisse Thybulle, they lack perimeter stoppers. So Bill Simmons also said that he was hearing that maybe Seth Curry could be involved in that trade to persuade the Nets into making a deal. But when you look at this from Philadelphia's perspective, I think Tyrese Maxey is untouchable. Year 2, he's averaging around 17 points per game. He really is a firecracker with that Sixers offense, with his ability to really change the game with his speed and explosiveness. He also brings this youthful energy, and the leap that he's made from his rookie year to his sophomore campaign tells me he's not a player that you can just build with in the future. He can impact games right now, and he's done that all throughout the year. As we continue to move forward with this list, I want you to get into the comment section right now and give me one player you guarantee gets traded. Not a player that could get traded, a guy you think is going to be guaranteed to get dealt. Give me a name or some names in the comment section down below. Skip ahead to the next 5. Russell Westbrook continues to have a disastrous season in Los Angeles as it comes back to his hometown and where he played his college ball at UCLA, and it just hasn't worked out for Russ and the Lakers. Jerami Grant, one of those players who I might say, I guarantee he gets dealt. Detroit could get a lot back for him, and he can impact games on both ends of the floor. Christian Wood can play the 4 or 5 spots and let it rip from distance as a big front court player. And Myles Turner, Domantas Sabonis. We already saw Karis LeVert get dealt over the weekend to the Cleveland Cavaliers in a deal that I really liked. The next dominoes to fall could be Myles Turner and Sabonis for Indiana if they decide to fully hit that reset button. Here's what an anonymous NBA executive had to say about Russ in LA in a deal that hasn't worked for both sides. Quote, "It's obvious the Lakers are trying to move Russell Westbrook, which is damn near impossible. They know that roster is just not working." It's not working. You know what also isn't working? Russell Westbrook's contract for the Lakers and any team that decides to trade for him. He's a declining player who plays a maddening style of basketball, and his roster fit isn't just clunky with Los Angeles. It's been clunky the last couple of destinations. I know he was better after the All-Star break with the Wizards last year, but he really didn't get along well on-court fit alongside Bradley Beal. It was weird in Houston with James Harden, and in OKC with Paul George, they really lacked playoff success. And that contract for Russell Westbrook, so prohibitive for a team that does decide to trade for him if they do decide to pull the trigger. Predict it for me. Look into the crystal ball and you tell me in the comment section below me, will Russ get traded? He's an exciting player, still has that athletic explosiveness, but man, he can't shoot the basketball in an era where guards need to shoot. Type T for trade, type S for he's going to stay in the City of Angels. Predict it for me right now. Now, as I mentioned off the top, today's show presented to you by the Fetch Rewards app. This app, it's changed my life because I like to shop a lot, and I make a lot of purchases, whether that be with cash or a credit card or a debit card. But no matter where you make a purchase, by any of those mediums, it doesn't matter. Get your receipt back, and with the Fetch Rewards app, you can scan those receipts by simply pulling up the phone. It's a free and easy download on the Apple iPhone store or the Google Play Store. You see that orange button to my right. You hit that, you snap a picture of your receipt, and any receipt that you get, whether it be from a large retail store like Walmart or a local mom and pop store, you're able to scan those receipts, and over time, those bonus points accumulate, which then leads to you getting free gift cards. Now, the technology on the Fetch Rewards app is absolutely unbelievable. It registers and can identify which stores you make a purchase from, but if it doesn't, like that video example just showed you, you just put that store name in there, you get rewarded for all of the shopping that you do, and you get 3,000 bonus points to start off with if you plug in that link down below. It's chatsports.com/fetch. Enter the promo code chat, and you'll be on your way to getting free gift cards to places like Amazon, Walmart, Starbucks, Fanatics, many more stores. You want to see what I'm talking about? Use that link down below. It's available in the comment section as well as the description of this video. More NBA trade candidates to get to heading into Thursday's deadline. Are the Sacramento Kings going to go full sell? I think they should. This is a franchise that hasn't made it to the playoffs since the early 2000s, and they could decide to trade away a Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox. They really want to trade away Marvin Bagley. I think Tyrese Halliburton has really burst onto the scene as a bona fide future stud. John Collins, Tobias Harris with the Atlanta Hawks and the Philadelphia 76ers, two other players who could get traded away. But here's the deal with the Atlanta Hawks. They fell to the Dallas Mavericks on Sunday in a game where the Mavericks really played good defense on top of what they did on Friday night against the Philadelphia 76ers. I was there for that game. They went with the zone. It was tremendous, and their defense under Jason Kidd has been great. But outside of that loss to Dallas, the Hawks are really starting to get on a roll. They signed John Collins to that contract extension over the summer, in addition to signing Trae Young. Why break apart this young core that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year and is starting to get hot right now? So I think the likelihood of John Collins getting traded is somewhat low. According to a multitude of reports, though, and this has really been the case over the last couple of years, the draft decision to take Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic, brutal for Sacramento. Unfortunately for that franchise, it's been the story for this team over the last 2 decades or so. The Kings would love to trade away Marvin Bagley, and frankly, he's been getting more playing time since Luke Walton got fired. I'd like to see what he could do elsewhere, though, with the change of scenery. We remain with some players with the Sacramento Kings. Richaun Holmes and his development in the front court has been great. He's a great shot blocker, great athlete, but his offensive arsenal has continued to expand. Speaking of an expanding offensive arsenal, it's not the case with Buddy Hield. He's got the flamethrower from distance. That's really all he brings to the table offensively, but is a very good three-point shooter in an era where those types of players are coveted. Jusuf Nurkic is a good player in the front court who, since suffering that ugly leg injury a couple years ago, hasn't gotten back to that level, but is a very good trade asset. So too is Larry Nance, who can guard multiple positions, can get out to the three-point arc, and is also an athletic high flyer. And a guy who I think a lot of people sleep on is Justin Holiday. According to some reports, Los Angeles Lakers linked to Justin Holiday of the Indiana Pacers, a guy who can also guard multiple positions, and his offensive game has really gotten better over the last couple of years. He is the brother of Drew Holiday, not the same player, not among the level of guards like a Drew Holiday, but is a good player who can come in off the bench, who can start games from time to time for a playoff team that's right on that bubble and contribute very good minutes. I honestly feel bad for Kings fans up to this point. This is a franchise in Northern California that continues to show up to games, yet they haven't had a playoff team to root on over the since the early 2000s. And it's really unfortunate because it seems as though every single year we're having this conversation where they want to rebuild, they want to retool. Could this be the year where they just decide to do that yet again? They have some really talented pieces on that roster. Unfortunately for Sacramento, though, it is not translated to wins. Should the Kings blow it up? Kings fans, let me know. NBA fans, you let me know. Type D for detonate the whole thing and just decide to rebuild. Type H for we still have hope with some good young players on this roster, like the players we've talked about in addition to Tyrese Halliburton and Davion Mitchell. You let me know in the comments section down below. NBA trade candidates as we round out this list here with some really intriguing names and some really notable names as well. Eric Gordon is having honestly one of the best years of his career. He's been right over 40% from distance all throughout this year. John Wall has not played this year because Houston has gone with a youth movement. That's why he could get dealt. If not, maybe he's a buyout candidate. That's why Eric Gordon could get traded away as well. Spencer Dinwiddie got off to a nice start after signing that deal with the Washington Wizards, coming off that partially torn ACL, but man, his shooting percentage has just been dog. The Boston Celtics have gotten hot of late, but could they elect to retool along the way while trying to get into playoff contention and stay there and trade away players like Josh Richardson as well as Dennis Schroder, who's a really good bench player and is always in that conversation to be the NBA Sixth Man of the Year. And then other than that, you're looking at middle tier guys like a Kenrich Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder, a modern day 3-and-D player. Thaddeus Young has been getting it done for a really long time. San Antonio Spurs could be in a position where they're on the outer edge of really getting into that NBA play-in tournament. If there's another NBA contending playoff team that wants a veteran presence, Thaddeus Young has always had that sweet baseline J and elbow J. Montrezl Harrell, Gary Harris, and Goran Dragic, all veteran players who could be very, very good for a team that is looking to make that push to get into the playoffs. They're trying to take that next step while in the playoff race, or they're on the outer edge looking in of getting in to playoff contention in either the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference. These guys can all play. Sometimes it just comes down to the situation being a good situation for those individuals. So before we get out of here, I want you to get into the comment section once more, and I want you to sound off, get that comment section popping off, and name a player you want your team to trade for. List your team and a player that you want your squad to trade for, and another reminder. Make sure you subscribe to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel by hitting that red subscribe button down below. We're going to be live for several hours on Thursday, before the NBA trade deadline, during it, and after it, pushing out live content as well as content after the fact. Myself, Harrison Graham, going to be bringing you all of the best NBA trade rumors, news, and rumors. So hit that red subscribe button down below. And until then, we'll be pumping out coverage all throughout the week, and we look forward to seeing you on Thursday.